there. My name is Giselle Carson, and welcome back to Q&A with Giselle. This is for October, and we are very close to the presidential elections in just a couple of weeks or 3 weeks. And I know there is a lot of anxiety, particularly in the immigration field, because every presidential election brings some changes to immigration, no matter who the president is. So regardless of who the president will be, we will have some changes, and that causes a lot of anxiety, and rightly so. So here I am going to be answering some of the questions that I have received about the potential changes and about immigration in the United States. And also I want to tell you that I will be doing a webinar. So if you want to join me, and I hope you do, for more information on this topic, it is going to be October 23rd from 2 to 2:30 Eastern Standard Time. And we will be also posting here when that webinar will be. So hopefully you will join me there. But for now, I am going to answer 3 of the questions that I have received. And I'm not going to do, it may seem like I am pro one candidate or the other, and I'm not doing this in that sense. I will be honest, because I have practiced under both of the prior Trump, his first term, and I obviously have been practicing under the Biden-Harris administration. So I'm speaking from my experience, my practical experience during that time, but also basically what they have put in the media and what they have told us that they're going to do or expect to do what in terms with immigration. But I also want to go back to why is it so hard for workers that want to work in the United States to come here legally. And the root of the cause of all these problems is our immigration laws are very antiquated. The last significant immigration reform was in 1986 during the Reagan administration. I was practicing immigration law back then. So I also saw what did, and that reform brought the lawful, so there were about 2.8 million undocumented workers or undocumented people in the United States that had been in the United States for, there were particular parameters that you could apply to become documented under this reform. And so, 2.8 million undocumented immigrants that were living in the United States at that time. And they had to establish that they had been living in the United States since 1982. So it wasn't anybody that had entered recently. There were very specific parameters. That also brought us, for employers, Form I-9, the beautiful Form I-9 that we all love today. Well, that's what it came from. So anyway, just think about how much the world has changed since 1986. And our immigration laws have not. I'm actually writing a book right now that I will be talking about it some more. And as I'm writing that book, I am reading about the statistics, not that we don't know them, but I'm actually looking at the numbers, how our population is aging, how our workforce is diminishing, the number of open jobs that are out there, that even if everyone in the United States were to take one of those jobs, we would still have millions of jobs available, because we just don't have enough population to fulfill the jobs that are needed to support our standard of living and our economy. So that brings me to, specifically answer the question, why is it so hard for workers to come, even though we need them, is because Congress has failed to act. And we just, we need to elect the right leaders in our country. And if you are sitting on the sidelines and you're a US citizen and you're entitled to vote, I would highly encourage you to do that. Please do not wait and say, oh, well, I don't like one candidate or the other. I mean, pick one and exercise your vote, because it is important for all of us. It's one of the amazing rights that we have in the United States. So let's continue to push our Congress and whoever the president is, because that's the person that finally signs it to law, that we do need comprehensive immigration reform in many levels, so that we, to some degree, stop this ongoing problem that we're going to have, and the political gridlock that is happening. Expansion, or at least reform is needed. So the other question that I get is, of course, what are the implications of a Trump administration versus a Harris administration on immigration? Well, their stands are very, very different. I'm going to start with the things that they're have both agreed on. One, border control, and I think most Americans, if not all of us, will agree that border control is necessary. The issue is what kind or how, but border control is necessary, and both of them have agreed that border control is necessary. They have also agreed that increased detention facilities for undocumented, particularly also to control the border, is necessary. I agree with that. Higher standards for asylum seekers, I agree with that also. So they both agree on those points. Now, here's where the big differences are. The Trump's plan focuses on the largest deportation in America's history. I mean, I just saying that, it scares me in many levels. But that is, I mean, we've heard it say on TV and a million times. So largest deportation in American history, restrictions on legal immigration, and I experienced that vividly while I was practicing immigration law. The changes in policies were almost on a regular basis, and yes, there were restrictions to illegal immigration, but there are significant restrictions to legal immigration that I believe were fully unreasonable and not necessary in any way. It made everything very difficult. Elimination of DACA and return to travel bans. And some of you will probably remember the difficulties with the travel ban and ideological screening. So those are the top points. With relations to the Harris plan, she has expressed the expansion of work visas, offering a pathway to citizenship for DACA recipients, and that warms my heart. These are kids that are more American than many Americans. They've lived in this country since they were kids, and they've gone to our schools. They speak English fully. They believe in the American system. And they have been here for many years now under DACA, which is a protected status, but really with no end in sight. And also, her plan talks about expanding other immigration pathways, primarily humanitarian. So that's kind of a bulk overview of their where they stand. Now, how can employers and foreign workers best prepare? Well, again, like I said, no matter what, there will be changes in January. So we have a little bit of wiggle room here. I will encourage you again to attend my webinar, where I will be talking more specifics as to how we approached this before, how we can prepare for the future. And I think the most important thing for everybody is to stay informed about the reforms, the potential changes, how to address them, how to stay, and to also take a proactive approach right now. Start looking at things that may be done now rather than in January or February, if possible. So with that, I hope that gives you just a little perspective of what may be coming. Again, uncertainty is on everybody's minds, and I also believe strongly that this country is extremely resilient, and at the end of the day, the right path wins. So I am a strong believer on also in positive mindset. So I'm going to end with that. The future is bright, and I am here to support our process, our clients, and hope to see you soon, October 23rd. Take care. Bye-bye.